to see it. And then I guess without further ado, are we good?
I think we're good.
Okay. Without any further ado, I am proud to present. We good? Metamorphoses.
Bodies I have in mind, and how they can change to assume new shapes. I ask the help of the gods, who know the trick. Change me, and let me glimpse the secret and speak. Better than I know how, of the earth's burden, and the creation of all things, from the first to the very latest.
Long before there was water and dry land, or even heaven and earth, all nature was the same. What we called chaos. With neither the sun to shed its light, nor moon to wax and wane, nor earth hung in its atmosphere of air. If there was land and sea, there was no discernible shoreline, no way to walk on the one land, swim and sail on the other. There was neither reason nor order, until at last, a god sparked, glowed, and then shone like a beam of light to define the earth and the heavens, and to separate water from hard ground.
Once these distinctions were made, and matter began to move, the sky displayed its array of stars and their constellations, a twinkling template of order. The sea upon which they shone moving with fish, and the woods and meadows of game, and the air with twittering birds, each order of creature settling into itself.
A paradise, it would seem, except one thing was lacking: words.
And so, man was born. He was born so that he might talk.
Some say that God perfected the world, creating of his divine substance the race of humans.
Others maintain that we come from the natural order of things.
But one way or another people came, erect, standing tall, with our faces set not to gaze at the dirt beneath our feet, but upward at the sky in pride, or perhaps nostalgia. What would you do with all the money in the world?
What a question.
I know what I would do. Do you want to know what I would do?
No.
I'd never do laundry again,
That's it? That's the big dream?
among other things.
Do you want to hear a little story?
About rich people?
Yeah.
Of course.
Once there was a certain king named Midas, net worth 100 billion.
Now, I'm not a greedy man, but it's an accepted fact. A proven fact that money's a good thing. A thing to be longed for. A necessary thing. And my God, I have a lot of it. Now, it wasn't always like this with me. The boats, the houses by the sea, the summer cottages, the winter palaces, the exotic furnishings, the soft clothes, the food, Honey, can you stop that now? Be still, Daddy's talking. Excuse me. The outrageous food, the 200-year-old wine. No, it wasn't always like this. I came up from poor and worked hard all my life. Still do, mind you. My father was a minor manufacturer somewhere. Well, I was born with a head for business. Always been at so everything I touch turned into gold. Not literally, of course. Wouldn't that be something? Turn a profit. Turn a... Sweetheart, Daddy asked you to be still. Take it inside. You see this pool? It costs a pretty penny, I can tell you. All it takes is hard work. Plain and simple. And those who haven't God in them, what can anyone do? They just haven't God in them. Be still! You drive me nuts already! But you know, I never forget I do it all for the family. Yes, that's what it's all for. Family is the most important thing, isn't it? When I give my midnight 7 days a week, in the moments before I sleep, I realize that family is what really matters.
Sir,
Yes, what is it?
this man's been making trouble in the town. We believe he's a vagrant, sir, of the worst, most drunken kind.
Hello, King.
What should we do with him?
Nice place.
Execute him?
No need. And my dad sent them the 3 sheets to the wind.
3 sheets to the... What the hell are you talking about, King? I'm all rummed up.
Why when last week at the feast?
Let me tell you something. You know what?
No, what?
Let me tell you.
Yes.
Let me tell you something.
Yes, all right.
I've been all over the world.
Oh, have you?
Yes, I'm lost now, but I have been all over the place.
How nice for
You
you.
listening? Well, let me tell you. There is a country beyond this one where...
How very fascinating. Well, excuse me.
No, I strayed from the crowd and I'm lost now, but there is a country.
Asia?
Further.
Africa?
No, further! Over the ocean! I've been there.
Oh.
King, I tell you, it's like a dream, a dream. I am telling you that in this place the people, they see each other. And these people live without desire of any kind, and so time, there is no time. Just the blue sky above and the pretty moon at night. They've got the meadows under their feet with the yellow flowers. And,
Well, thank you. This has been the most entertaining.
and the people live forever.
What?
They live forever. They never die.
Was some herb they have some
No,
something in the air, something we distill out specifically. You know to bring it.
no, it's,
Yes.
is that your daughter?
Go on, get out of here. Be self once in your life. Go on.
You're rich indeed.
Go on. Is the animal even better if it's an animal? My God, we can bring them here. Oh my God, the millions. Don't worry, young man. I'll make sure you get your cut.
No.
It's an animal. What's the secret to eternal life?
It's here.
Some formula? You have it. The formula?
No, it's here
What?
and here.
Oh, that inner life stuff. What uselessness. All right, then off you go. You may sleep in the cabana. Oh, for God's sake, someone turn him over. Turn him over before he drowns.
Night fell, but when the rosy fingers of dawn came back again,
Midas!
Good Lord, who's there?
It's Buckus. I hear you have a follower of mine.
A follower.
Yeah, Solenis. He wandered from our group as we passed close to town, and I hear he's with you.
Oh, the fellow in the cabana. Yes, take it. He's all yours.
I'm glad you didn't turn him away, Midas. That you took care of him and made sure he didn't drown in his condition. And I'd like to present you with a gift.
A gift.
Some ability, a minor miracle, something to do at parties,
Anything.
anything at all.
You promise.
Yes, of course.
Will grant me everything I touch, turn into solid gold.
That's a really, really bad idea.
What do you mean it's a bad idea? It's a great idea.
Think about it, Midas.
No, you think about it. We had a deal for God's sake. Now follow through.
All right, then.
and from that moment on, everything he touched turned to solid gold.
Wait a minute. Let me think where to begin.
He went out walking, and with every step, the gravel under his feet turned to solid gold. And delighted, he reached for branches and flowers and had
and flowers. He was almost insane with happiness that the whole of the world could become his personal treasure. Later that night, he re-entered the courtyard laden with precious gold. Papa!
No! Take it away. Marcus, take it away!
I can't.
No, take it away now!
I'm sorry.
You must take it away.
There is one way, Midas.
What would?
Look as far as the ends of the earth. Search for a pool that reflects the stars at night. Wash your hands in it, and there is a chance that everything will be restored.
Is that too sad for you?
A little.
All right then, here's another.
There once was a king named Ceyx, who had as his queen Alcide, daughter of Aeolus, master of the winds. These two adored each other and lived in a monotony of happiness. But nothing in this world is safe.
It isn't true.
It is.
One day Alcyone had heard that Ceyx had ordered his ship to be made ready for a sea voyage to visit a far-off oracle.
How could you leave me alone? I'll pine in your absence. Overland is a long and arduous trip, but I'd still prefer that to a voyage by sea, which I fear, for my father's winds are wild and savage. It's danger as the sunny one may get some special treatment. Not so. Once those winds have escaped my father's cave, those winds are wild and beyond anyone's control. As a girl, I've watched them come home exhausted and spent, and I've learned to fear them then. Now I am petrified. Surely,
She said,
if you die, my life is over, and I shall be cursed with every reluctant breath I draw.
My love, I hate to choose between my journey and you, but how can I live this way? Stranded on shore, afraid, domesticated, diminished, kind of lapdog.
Take me with you, at least, and we'll leave the storms together, which I fear much less than to be left a widow.
In 2 months' time, I'll be back.
No, I fear you won't. I know you won't.
In 2 months' time. In that short time, you can be brave and endure the trial of waiting.
she was hardly consoled, but she saw she could not hold out any longer in the face of his resolve. She allowed herself to be soothed and consented to his going. There were no more details left to be checked, no last-minute changes to make, and the men, arranged on their benches, were ready to row and go. He boarded and gave the sign, and then he turned to wave at her. She waved at him while the river of black water widened between the ship and shore. She gazed at him until he was no longer distinguishable, but still, she could see the ship, and watched it as it receded to a smaller and smaller object. And then the whole hull was gone, and only the sails remained. And then they too disappeared. She gazed still at the empty and desolate blue, and then went to her empty bedroom to lie on the huge and vacant bed, and give herself over to weeping.
The vessel cleared the harbor and caught the freshening wind, which set the rigging to singing and slapping against the spars. I ordered the rowers to ship their oars and the sailors to set the yards and make sail. Our ship ran before the wind. We made satisfactory progress all that day and had reached the point of no return. with as much blue water astern as remained ahead.
But as the sun was sinking in the west, the water everywhere blew until now began to be swept with the white-capped waves of sailors' flight. The weather was worsened every moment when the winds were on the loose.
Reef the sails, secure the spars, bail the water.
But Poseidon had arrived and the rest was one enormous green catastrophe.
He thinks in an oddly abstracted way that the waves are lions, crazed with hunters' wounds. Or that the ship is a town besieged by a horde of madmen. One would think the heavens were crazed with lust to join the turbulent sea. And returning this bizarre passion, the sea rises up to embrace the air.
The men have lost their belief in their captain, their courage, their nautical skill, and even their will to live as they wait for the end. One weeps and groans aloud. Another, no braver, is silent, dumbstruck. Some call on the gods for mercy. Another curses his fate. And one says one word.
Alcyone!
Again and again.
Alcyone, my treasure. Alcyone.
And this is the end of the world.
O gods, hear my modest prayer, that my body may wash ashore her feet, and with gentle hands she may prepare it to be buried.
Nothing left but the slow parade led by Hermes to the underworld.
One, 2, 3, 4, 15, 16, 17, 18, 98, 99, 100. One, 2, 3, 4, 15, 16, 17, 18, 98, 99, 100.
Look at her, Iris. She's moved her vigil to the shore, and now she's sleeping there.
98, 99, 100. Say it! Come home! I'm nearer now. I'm sleeping on the shore. It's not so far until you see me.
This can't go on forever. Go to the house of sleep and ask him to arrange a nighttime visitation. A dream that might show our Alcyone the sorry truth.
Far off in remotest Campania, beyond where the Cimmerians live in their gloomy caves, is a deeper and even darker grotto, the home of sleep. In this place, the sun never can, even at midday, penetrate with the faintest beams. In that cloudy twilight, no rooster dares disturb the silence with his rude crowing. No dog or nervous goose gives voice to challenge the passing stranger, but an almost total silence fills the air. And at the heart of an almost painted stillness, the god himself relaxes, drifting and languor. Fragments of ill-assorted dreams hover over the ground in grand profusion, and like leaves, the trees have to let go to flow through the currents of air and fall into their gorgeous billows below.
Hello?
Into this strange and breathless place, Iris the rainbow intrudes.
Oh, Psalm 91. Psalm 91. Wake up!
Huh?
Mildest of all the gods, soother of souls, and healer of wearied and pain-racked bodies and minds.
Iris? Let me rest a moment. Iris, what do you want?
Devise if you can some form to resemble King Ceyx, and send it down in a dream to his wife, the Queen Alcyone. Let her know the news of the wreck of his ship and the death of the husband she loved so well. Sleep. Do this for us. Can you? Farewell.
Morpheus. Morpheus! Come and change your shape to that of King Ceyx. Go to his wife and tell her he's dead. That's good. That's really good. Now go.
Sir, you seem like a seafaring man. Can you tell me, where is my husband Ceyx? Have you seen him on the sea? When is he coming home? His ship is strong and unmistakable. Have you seen him? Sir!
Do you not recognize me? Has death undone me so? Look at me. I charge you, look at me.
No, I won't!
Look at me and know your husband's ghost. For your prayers have done no good. For I am gone, beyond all hope or help forever.
Go away!
I am not some bearer of tales, but the man himself to whom it happened. Look at me, my little bird.
I told you. I knew it would happen and I begged you not to go. I knew the day you sailed I had lost you forever. The ship, my hopes, and my life grew smaller all at the same time. You should have allowed me to go.
My little bird.
This is no good, and I should be living, and you be elsewhere or nowhere. I am drowning now in the air. I am wrecked here on the land where the currents are just as cold and cruel.
Get up from your bed. Put on your mourning clothes.
Wait, where are you going? No, but take me with you. As wives are supposed to go with their husbands. Messina, give me your lantern. Ceyx! Come back! Where is he? Where is he?
All that night she searched the shore for her drowned dreamed husband, but she found nothing, not even footprints, only wave after wave of black water. When morning came, she raised her eyes to the horizon and remembered how she had looked on that other day. She remembered his last kiss, the way he turned to the ship, could not bear it, and turned again to her.
What is that up there? Oh, it is a man. Alas, poor sailor, for your wife and...
The gods are not altogether unkind. Some prayers are answered.
Ceyx! This is how you return to me!
She began to run to him, but as she ran, crying, a strange thing happened. By the time she reached him, she was a bird. She tried to kiss him with her bill, and by some trick of the ocean's heaving, she had struck her to his thought. You ask, how could he have felt the kiss?
But better, ask how can the gods not have felt it, seen this, and not had compassion?
compassion. The dead body was changing, restored to new life and renewed as another seabird. Together they still fly just over the water's surface and mate and rear their young. And for 7 days each winter, Alcyone broods on her nest that floats on the jungled water. For Aeolus, her father, then keeps the winds short-reined, and every year gives 7 days of calm upon the ocean, the days we call the halcyon days.
When you see a miracle like that, how can you deny the existence of the gods? Believe it or not, there are some that do. There was a man called Erysichthon who scorned the gods and refused to sacrifice on their altars or do them honor. Nothing was sacred to him. He only looked for the usefulness of things. One day, he found himself in a grove sacred to Ceres.
Cut it down.
Sir, that tree is centuries old.
We need the wood. Cut it down.
Sir, this is a sacred grove, and that tree is beloved by Ceres.
It's only a tree that the goddess likes. Say it was the goddess herself. I'd cut it down just the same.
Sir, please!
Get off me, pious son of a bitch!
And he tore the tree down.
Sir!
Who is that?
I'm the spirit of the tree itself speaking. My pangs of death are eased by one thing.
And what is that?
You will never get away with this.
Oh, now I'm really frightened.
But the goddess Ceres heard the cry of the tree, and her mind immediately began to move upon torments that she might inflict. Oriad!
Yes?
There is a place in far-off Scythia. Nothing grows there. No wheat, no grass, no trees. There you'll find, huddled together, cold, fear, and gaunt hunger. Tell hunger I command her to visit this brood and establish a home for herself in his belly. I give him to her as a toy.
I will.
I would go myself, but it's forbidden for hunger and me ever to meet. Oread flew off to the Caucasus, a bleak and nightmarish region.
There in a field of stones crouched Hunger, pulling from between the rocks with her teeth and filthy fingernails some tiny bits of moss. Her hair hung down in lank and matted locks. Her eyes were sunken and circled, her lips slack and cracked. The vaults of her ribs stuck out as did every bone in her body. One could count the knobs of her spine.
Hunger? Ceres commands, or rather, permits you to go to Erysichthon and and never to leave him until he is finished.
Gladly.
Hunger crawled through the air to the house of the victim. As she flew overhead, fields withered and men starved. The birds scattered from her path too weak to fly. It is night when she arrives at Erysichthon's home and hurtles through the halls where she finds him sleeping in his room. She wraps cadaverous arms around him in an embrace as strong as love, but quite the opposite of love. She breathes her spirit into his spirit, and he begins to dream.
Pastries, cheese, grapes.
He waits,
Bring me something to eat, anything, I'm starving!
but he can't wait to be served. He begins to eat everything in sight, meal after meal after meal after meal, but he can't shake this hunger.
More, I need more! More to eat!
Baked shrimp and marshmallows, salami and ice cream, liver and donuts, everything in every possible combination. Even as he eats, he's planning other menus and complaining of his hunger. Just as the ocean ingests the water from the rivers of the world, but still is never filled and remains thirsty and offers more and more forever. So he calls out for more.
It isn't enough! It isn't enough!
His gorging empties the larder in his storeroom, the warehouses and barns of the city. His hunger is unabated. What is left to sell?
His hunger led him to sell his poor, his darling mother.
She doesn't look so strong.
She is. We've had her for years.
I can't give you much.
Just give whatever. Just give it to me.
All right then.
With the few coins he received, he ran home to eat. Riding in a boat behind her new master, Ersikthon's mother leaned over the hull and prayed to someone she once knew.
Poseidon, if you remember me, come and save me now.
From the briny deep, Poseidon heard her prayer, pulled her into the water, and changed her back into the little girl that used to play along his shores. The salty water licked her ears away and she emerged. The one that gave him praise in childhood, shouting as she ran among the waves. This is the kind of sweet, unbidden praise the gods adore and do not forget.
Little girl, listen up. Where's the old woman who was here a moment ago? Did she jump overboard and swim up to shore?
Sir, I swear by the god of the sea that no one but myself has been here, I swear.
To this day, at every hour, somewhere in the world, you can still catch a glimpse of that child playing by the shore. But let us return to our king. It was not enough. The money she earned for him was not enough for his needs. The emptiness within him was unappeasable. You've seen such men yourself, I'm sure.
More. I need more.
The godless are always hungry.
More.
Always yelling at waitresses.
I want more.
There can only be one end to such a man. He will destroy himself.
Bon appetit.
You've heard of Orpheus, the greatest musician of all time, and his bride, Eurydice. His was the unluckiest of wedding days. Orpheus and Eurydice, number 1, Ovid, AD 8. Orpheus, the widower bridegroom, mourned her in the upper world, but his grief was limitless. Inconsolable, desperate, he left the warmth and sweetness of our air and dared descend to the river Styx and crossed it to the underworld. Through that dim domain with all its shimmering, buried ghosts, he passed. A long way he traveled, until at last he would arrive at its melancholy heart. There he found its king, lying with Persephone. He knelt before them, drowning in his grief.
I don't know what power love has down here. But I have heard he has sung, for he brought you two together. If that is true, if that passion moved you once, then listen to me. I've tried to master this grief, and I can't. I understand we all come here in the end, but my bride, Eurydice, will soon enough be your citizen in the ripeness of her years. I'm asking for a loan, not a gift. If you deny me, one thing is certain. I want you to keep me here as well.
As Orpheus spoke, the pale phantoms began to weep. Tantalus was no longer thirsty, and Sisyphus sat up on his rock to listen.
Orpheus, stand up.
Turn around. Eurydice. Your song has moved us, Orpheus, and you may have her on one condition. As you ascend and leave this place, you must not, until you pass our gates, turn to look at it. If you look at it before you reach the sunlight, she is ours forever.
I understand.
Hermes will accompany you. Remember, hesitation or doubt in our gift must be returned. A simple enough condition.
It ought to, friend. The singer led the way, ascending that sloping path through the earth. A long way they traveled, almost all the way, but you know what happened. Concerned for her, or not quite believing it wasn't some cruel delusion, a dream, or a mirage, he turned.
Farewell!
This was his last sight of her, but he saw it again and again.
Farewell!
Is this the story of love and how it always goes away?
Farewell!
Is this the story of time and how it can only move in one direction?
Farewell!
Is this the story of an artist and the loss that comes with sudden self-consciousness or impatience?
Farewell!
Orpheus and Eurydice, number 2. Rainer Maria Rilke, A.D. 1908.
I said to myself, they had to be behind me. Said it aloud and heard it fade away, they had to be behind me. But their steps were ominously soft. If only I could turn around just once.
But looking back would ruin this entire work, so near completion.
Then I could not fail to see them. Those other two that followed me so softly.
The god speaking distant messages, a golden crown above the shining eyes, and the slender strap held out in front of him, the little wrinkled rings fluttering in his ankles, and on his left arm, barely touching him, she.
A woman so loved that from one lyre there came more lament than from all lamenting women. And then a whole world of lament arose in which all nature reappeared. Forest and valley, road and village, fields, trees, animals, and that around this lament world, even as around our other earth, a sun revolved, and a silent, star-filled heaven, a lament heaven with its own disfigured stars. So greatly was she loved.
But now she walked behind the graceful god, her steps constricted by the trailing grape clothes.
Uncertain, gentle, and without impatience.
She was deep within herself, like a woman tethered with a child, and did not see the man in front, or the path descending steeply into life. Deep within herself. Being dead filled her beyond fulfillment, like a fruit suffused with its own mystery and sweetness. She was filled with her vast depth, which was so new that she could not understand that it had happened.
She had come into a new virginity and was untouchable. Her sex had closed like a young flower at nightfall, and her hands had grown so unused to things that the god's infinitely gentle touch of guidance hurt her like an undesired kiss.
She was no longer the woman with the blue eyes, who once had echoed through the poet's songs. No longer the wide couch of scent and island, and that man's property, no longer.
She was already loosened like long hair, poured out like flowing rain, shared like an endless supply.
And then abruptly, the god put out his arm to stop her, saying with sorrow in his voice,
She just turned around.
she could not understand, and simply answered,
Who? Far away, dark before the shining exit gates, someone or other stood whose features were unrecognizable.
I stood and saw on the strip of road, among the meadows with a mournful look, the god of messages turned to follow the small figure. Already walking back along the path with the steps, constricted by the trailing grave clothes.
Uncertain, gentle, and without impatience.